Hello everyone. Before starting the next lesson, try this warm-up. Suppose the temperature at the top of a mine shaft is 11 degrees Celsius and that it increases at a rate of 0.015 degrees Celsius per meter as you descend. Try to visualize that first. It's a mine shaft. You start at the top. It's 11 degrees Celsius. As you descend, as you go down into the earth, the temperature increases 0.015 degrees Celsius every meter you descend. Okay, so part A, represent the temperature of the mine shaft with an equation. Part B, what is the temperature at the bottom of the mine, which is 3,585 meters deep? So see if you can come up with an equation that will model the temperature. Remember, the temperature is increasing. It's getting warmer every meter that you descend. And then use your equation to determine what the temperature is at this depth. So pause the video, try this on your own, and see what you come up with, then check back in. I'm serious, pause the video and try this. So the temperature starts at 11 degrees Celsius and gets this much warmer every meter. So if we use T to represent temperature in degrees Celsius and D to represent depth in meters, we end up with this equation to model the temperature. It starts at 11 degrees Celsius and increases 0.015 degrees Celsius for every meter of depth. So, to answer the second question, what is the temperature when the depth is 3,585 meters? All I have to do is replace D with that number because D represents depth. So if I know the depth, I replace D with that number. And now I just do the math. 11 plus 0.015 multiplied by 3,585. If I do that properly, I get approximately 64.8 degrees Celsius. Now I rounded my final answer, and so to indicate that, remember, you put a dot above the equal sign. That indicates that we have an approximate answer, not an exact answer. We've been talking about functions and what a function is, and now we're going to talk about function notation. So we're going to look at how do we represent a function mathematically. So we're going to use function notation to solve problems involving algebra and graphs. First off, the notation f and then x in brackets is read as f of x. It means f is a function of x. X is the independent variable in the function f. The value of f depends on the value of x. It means all those things. Sometimes it's easier to imagine a function as a machine. In a machine, you have input. So you can put a number into the function, something happens to that number, and then your output is the answer. So you can think of x as the input, f is the name of the machine, and the answer that you get when you run your input through the machine is what we call the output. Now the general form is f of x, but letters other than f can be used in function notation, and oftentimes you want to use letters that are helpful or that represent what the function is about. For example, if the height is being measured as a function of time, you can express the function as h of t, height as a function of time. Time would be the input, the height would be your output. For example, the area of a circle is a function of the radius. So you might remember the area of a circle is calculated by pi times the radius squared, pi r squared. Now I can write that as function notation, area as a function of the radius. So a is the name of my function, a for area. R is the input. This is the rule that we follow to get the output. So if I write this, a, and then brackets 3, that's function notation. Remember, radius is what's in the brackets. So here, this is saying, what is the area when the radius is 3? So in function notation, area when the radius is 3 is equal to pi times 3 squared. Notice my original function says r. The input is r. Here, the input is 3. So if r is replaced with 3, you replace r with 3 in the actual function as well. And then you can just do the calculation. Pi multiplied by 3 squared. Pi multiplied by 9. You get an answer of approximately 28.3 units squared because this is the area. Now here's a function. F of x is equal to x squared plus 3x minus 2. Here I have function notation. I would like you to find the values of each function. F of negative 2, f of 0, and f of 1/3. Pause the video and do the calculations to determine the following values. Remember, you're using f of x. This is the equation. You know what x is. You're just trying to figure out what the function value is. So pause the video and try it, and then check back in to see how you did. Here's my work. You can check yours with mine. Remember, f of x is the input. So if the input is negative 2, replace x with negative 2 wherever you see it. Do the calculations. Remember to follow the correct order of operations, or BEDMAS. So exponents come before you do division and multiplication, and that comes before addition and subtraction. So we have to do things in the correct order. Negative 2 squared means negative 2 times negative 2. That's 4. Positive 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. So 4 minus 6 minus 2, that ends up being minus 4. Now the input is 0, so change x to 0 and do the calculation. And the last one, x is 1/3. Yes, it's a fraction, but you do the same thing. Replace x with 1/3. Do the math. 1/3 squared means 1/3 times 1/3. Well, 1 times 1 is 1. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 1/3 is 3/3, which is just 1. Or you can think of this as 3 times 1 divided by 3. 3 times 1 is 3. Divide that by 3, it's 1. Now, sometimes it's easier to deal with the integers before you start trying to add a fraction in there. Positive 1 minus 2 is negative 1. And then we're going up 1/9. So that brings us to negative 8/9. If you have trouble with fractions, if this confuses you, I think you should pause the video and reach out for help before you move on to the rest of the lesson. Otherwise, you can move on to this one. Here I have a different function. I'm using a different letter. Instead of f of x, it's g of x. But function notation is the same. The input is x. Here's the rule to follow to get the output. Your input plus 2 divided by your input squared minus 2. So pause the video and try to find the following values, g of 1 and g of 1/2. Pause the video, try it, and see how you do. We follow the same format as before. If x is 1, replace x with 1 wherever you see it. Now do the calculation. Follow BEDMAS. This fraction line means division, but we're dividing the entire numerator by the entire denominator. So we have to treat the numerator and denominator as if they were in brackets. So we have to simplify those first. 1 plus 2 is 3. 1 squared is 1, and then minus 2. That ends up being minus 1. Now we can do the division. 3 divided by negative 1 is negative 3. That's g of 1. G of 1 equals negative 3. Here we have g of a half. Here we have a fraction again. So we're going to make x a half, because that's what the function notation tells me x is. So I have a half plus 2 in my numerator, and a half squared minus 2 as the denominator. If you're going to add with fractions, you have to have a common denominator. So 2 is 4 over 2 as a fraction. 1 over 2 plus 4 over 2 is 5 over 2. Okay, now the denominator, 1 over 2 squared, is 1 over 2 times 1 over 2. 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 2 is 4. Now this, minus 2, remember, if we're subtracting with fractions, we have to have a common denominator. So we're turning 2 into quarters, 8 quarters, or 8 fourths. 1/4 minus 8 fourths is minus 7 fourths. Okay, now we've simplified the numerator and the denominator as much as we can. We're dividing. If you're dividing by a fraction, this is your reminder, that's the same as multiplying by the reciprocal. Reciprocal means you switch numerator and denominator. So dividing by negative 7 over 4 is the same as multiplying by negative 4 over 7. 5 times negative 4 is negative 20, and 2 times 7 is 14. Put this in lowest terms. These are both even numbers, so I can divide each by 2. 20 divided by 2 is 10. 14 divided by 2 is 7. Now this is lowest terms because I can't find a common factor of that. So leave your answer as a fraction. That's great. Then it's an exact answer, negative 10 over 7. Now here's a little bit trickier problem. A function, f of x, has the following properties. We know that f of 1 is equal to 1, and we know that f of x plus 1 is equal to f of x plus 3x times x plus 1 plus 1. And we are to determine f of 2, f of 3, and f of 4. Now, you might be looking at this right now and thinking, what are you talking about? How do I even start? Well, let's just break this problem down. The first thing we're asked to find is f of 2. Okay, so f of 2, if the number in the brackets is a 2, well, that would mean x is 1, because 1 plus 1 is 2. So to find the value of f of 2, we just need to follow this here. We know what x is. X is 1. So we need to find f of 1, which we already know. It's 1. And we need to add 3 times x, which is 1, multiplied by x plus 1, well, 1 plus 1, and then we have to add 1. So we can do that. F of 1 is 1. 3 times 1 is 3. 1 plus 1 is 2. 3 times 2 is 6. 1 plus 6 plus 1 is 8. So f of 2 is equal to 8. Just to recap what I did, I wanted to find f of 2. Well, if x plus 1 is equal to 2, then that means x must be 1. So I need to find f of 1, which I already knew, and x is replaced with 1, and I just do the calculation. So why don't you pause the video and see if you can calculate the values of f of 3 and f of 4. Pause the video and try it. Then check back in. All right, here we are. To find f of 3, well, we need to know f of 2, which we already got, and x is replaced with 2. And to find f of 4, you need to know f of 3, and x is replaced with 3. So we get 27 for f of 3, and f of 4 is equal to 64. I'm hoping that you're getting more comfortable with function notation and what something like this means. This does not mean function times 4. It means the function when the input x is 4. I know it looks like you're multiplying by 4 here, but you're not. I know this looks like you're multiplying by 2, but you're not. This is function notation. It just looks the same as something like this. And that can be confusing. If you're having troubles with that, let me know. And if I still haven't stumped you yet, try this challenge problem. Here's a function h of x. It's equal to 6x divided by 2x squared plus 1. Determine the value of x when h of x is equal to 8 over 11. So this time we're working backwards actually. We know the output, we're trying to find the input. So if you're up for the challenge, you can pause the video and try this on your own and then see how you do. Maybe you got this far. You recognize that 8 over 11 is what h of x is, and you recognize that you can eliminate fractions by cross-multiplying. 8 times 2x squared plus 1 equals 11 times 6x. If you expand, you get this, and if you move all your terms to one side, you get an equation equal to 0. Now, you might recognize this from grade 10 when you talked about solving quadratic equations. Here we do have a quadratic equation equal to 0. There's two ways you can solve this. First, you could solve by factoring, if you remember how to factor. Or, if you'll remember the quadratic formula, you can plug in your A, B, C values. A is 16, B is negative 66, C is 8, and you can use the quadratic formula to find your two possible answers. So any way you do it, x can be 4 or x can be 1/8. Now, if you have forgotten how to factor and you've forgotten about the quadratic formula, it's okay. We are going to cover that again in this course. This was just to get your mind remembering it. But we will talk about that in a later lesson. For now, practice. We talked about function notation and how to read function notation and how to change your input to get an output, and we had that as our focus. So now it's time to practice using function notation. If you run into any issues, please let me know and I'll do my best to help.